Hey guys, it's Brad here from Get Out There magazine, and I'm down here in the Sunshine State of Florida for the 2017 edition of the Florida Sea-to-Sea Adventure Race.
This is the Florida Sea-to-Sea, and what it is a 72-hour adventure race across the state of Florida using mountain biking or foot and paddling, usually on canoes or kayaks, with navigation along the way. So teams will have a set of maps and they have to figure out how to get all the way across the state, trying to find as many checkpoints along the way as they can.
Jess and I are really dialed in for this race. We're actually really excited about exploring all these different landscapes, from beaches to hummocks to slash pine plantations. And just this tropical lush environment, it's really foreign for us. So we're a little excited about coming down here to race. This is going to take us approximately 500 kilometers from the Atlantic coast to the Gulf Coast. We're crossing the panhandle of Florida. This is a non-stop event, so if we sleep, we do so against the clock. I think overall we're feeling really good and really excited to be down here doing an adventure race. The Florida Sea-to-Sea Adventure Race got underway at Ponce Inlet on the Atlantic coast. After the mass start, teams embarked on a trekking section along a pier and across the beach, embarking upon their 72-hour journey across the state. Teams soon headed into the coastal towns, racing beside million-dollar condos before arriving at the Ponce Reserve, where a series of scattered photo checkpoints awaited. The terrain was fast and flat, and teams had to ensure that they kept a conservative pace, as 3 days of non-stop racing still lay ahead. Racers soon would transition to the paddle leg, which would begin their westward journey inland. Paddling up the Halifax River and Spruce Creek, teams searched for checkpoints along a maze of mangroves and beaches. Feeling great so far. The paddle was great. We came off the run at a really good pace too. Nice and relaxed, but yeah, just soaking up the sun on the water. Nothing too strenuous so far. We're about to go off on a bike time trial run. You can do it individually, but we decided we're just gonna stick together, roll as a team. We're not really concerned about the time on it. We just want to get the checkpoint. So once Jess is done changing, we're gonna roll out. We should be back here in about 45 minutes. So hopefully it's a good ride. Speedy. Teams embarked on a fast-paced, single-track bike time trial, where racers could individually attempt the course to try and achieve the fastest time for a bonus prize. As there were checkpoints scattered throughout, teams who opted to forego speed were still rewarded with additional points from clearing the loop. Arriving back at the transition area, racers fueled up, sorted maps, and soon set off on a lengthy ride along rural and urban paved roads.
Good work, Brad. You made the cutoff.
Yeah.
How was the ride?
I didn't like it going through the city, to be honest. But yeah, it was more like an urban AR. Yeah.
Almost got hit by some cars. It was fun.
How about the highway section?
You know what? I don't mind road riding, so it was okay. But it certainly wasn't what I expected.
Yes, we got a motor.
Okay, we have to go.
Of course you do.
Along the trail, not the end of the trail.
The name of the game is really getting the most checkpoints. So time management strategy plays a big role. Do you go for that hard checkpoint and possibly miss some easy checkpoints later on down the line because you didn't make that time cutoff? So teams also have to know what their limits are. And if you know what your limits are, you know how fast you can go, you can manage the time, manage the gear, and get from A to B really well.
After receiving a set of coordinates, teams plotted a handful of optional trekking checkpoints. The cutoff for this segment was tight, and for many teams, it was one of the first major segments to skip. By bike or by foot, all teams arrived at the paddling transition area in Blue Spring State Park. Teams would grab a canoe and hit the water. This leg would take teams down the St. Johns River and include an amazing paddle through the narrow and winding Snake Creek. As racers forged ahead, the sun began to set and the darkness of night crept in. Navigation became difficult as teams scanned the dark shoreline for checkpoints and eventually the landing for the next transition area. Hauling their boats ashore, racers prepped gear for the next leg, a lengthy trek through the Ocala National Forest. An amazing volunteer team had prepared hot meals for all teams, who graciously fueled up before leaving the transition area and heading off into the night once again.